Hi everyone, I'm Richard from Burning Spears. Welcome to my channel. Very excited about this cook today that I'm going to do and show you guys. In front of me I have a pork collar, also known as center cut butt, the money muscle in American barbecue, and it is widely renowned as one of the best sections of the pig to smoke. And not only is this a pork collar, but this is an Iberico pork collar. So I'm not sure if you're aware, but Iberico pork is considered the Wagyu of pork. These are Spanish pigs that run around in the forest, the mountain forests, and their primary diet consists of acorns. So they're always foraging, natural diet, and it's an amazing product. I'll talk to you a little bit about it when I zoom up nice and close. And today I'm going to smoke it on applewood. This was one of the second cooks I did on when my friend lent me a Kamado Joe Jr. And that's where the whole bug bit with barbecue and smoking and all of that sort of thing. The first one I did was a pork butt, which is the pork front shoulder. And it was 4.3 kilos. It almost covered the entire grid of the Kamado Joe Jr. And I nailed it. It was exceptional. Then during that research, I heard about the money muscle and the pork collar. So I looked at, I got some in. It wasn't Iberico, it was a normal one, which was quite large and rectangular. You'll see the Iberico one's a little bit smaller than what you typically see on a video. Now this pork collar, it cooked very well. A lot of marbling in this piece of meat, and I had some left because I just cooked it over for myself. Then the next day I was hungry, and I looked at this pork collar and it looked at me, and I thought, that looks like it could be quite good fried up. So I sliced it thinly and fried it up like bacon, and man, it was unbelievable. So I'm going to cook this. I'm going to slice a couple of slices off to show you guys what it looks like. Then I'm going to wrap it and put it in the fridge for tomorrow morning, when I'll cut some nice thin slices. I'll use my slicer for it to make sure that they are picture perfect slices instead of the slight unevenness with my lackluster knife skills. And I will show you that little fry up for breakfast as well. So stick around to the end. Really looking forward to this, like I say, and let's get close up. So I've done very little trimming to this. As I'm cooking it at home, I'm not cooking it for competition. It's a fairly pricey bit of pork, so I'm going to leave it pretty much as is, get the most value I can out. For good quality pork, which isn't mass produced, mass bred, and flooded onto the market as quick as possible, your meat will be darker as opposed to a pale pink. You can see this meat is almost red. It looks like beef. It actually is very red. It looks like beef. That is directly proportional to its flavor. The redder the pork, the more flavorful it is. This fat, any of you who have eaten a good quality jamon or something like that, you'll know that the fat starts almost melting at room temperature. You can see my gloves are oily. The meat's got oil on from me just touching and handling the meat, and that marbling and that fat will slowly baste this as it cooks. Now, I'm not going for a sweet barbecue pork style because this is going to be savory. I'm going to want to get the flavor of the meat, so I'm going to just simply season it with a mix of smoked paprika, celery, salt, pepper, some chili powder, garlic and salt. Okay, so I'm going to season it, and I'm not going to do too much more to it. I want to keep the flavor of the pork going and taste that wonderful flavor that develops and that's inherent in such a good quality piece of pig. So I'm just going to do a general purpose seasoning. I'm going to use hot sauce as a binder, just to give me that little bit of heat. It won't cause too much. And again, you want to get everything covered, even with the seasoning. You want to season every area heavily. What doesn't want to sit on there will fall off. Heavy seasoning means good bark or crust texture, flavor. Gives an increased surface area for smoke to stick onto. And because it's my own seasoning, I know how much salt is in. I know I won't be over salting the meat. So that's going to go in at the smoker. More about that in a bit. Okay, so my Kamado Joe is sitting at 140 degrees Celsius. And I'm going to pop this in. Today I'm using my Meter Plus probe, which I'll discuss in a while. Okay, so as I've said, I'm cooking this in the Kamado Joe today with applewood. That's the smoking chunks that I'm using. Always smoking chunks, never chips, never soaked chips. I really don't believe in that, in using those. My opinion, disclaimer. So it's at 140 degrees. Now, doing my research on the internet, again, I remembered why I wanted to produce videos and why I wanted to instruct at the barbecue school was you get confused. There's so many ways to do things, and a lot of them will achieve a great end result. Some of the methods described don't achieve a great result because somebody's come up with this plan and it looks great on camera, or you get confused. Which one should I do? Which one should I take? And I found myself today in that same situation. So what I'm doing today is I'm cooking it at 140 degrees Celsius. I'll put the Fahrenheit amount on the screen, and I'm going to cook it like that I'm going to check in on an hour, and then my final finished temperature will be 92 degrees Celsius. So I'll pull a bit forward to let it climb naturally, and I will wrap it, but you'll see that process in a bit. But I'm going to pull it to wrap once it's got up there in the sort of 65 degrees centigrade mark, and I'm happy with the color. Always wrap when you're happy with the amount of smoke and color it's got, and you'd never want to have it on past 75 degrees Celsius. That's just a guideline. 65 to 75 is typically where I wrap, and because of confusion, I'm going to go back to my basics and I'm just going to follow those. So you'll see the process all the way through, and I know the end result will be good. I can try and trust it. Some people go much higher and they go only unwrapped, which will give you a nice sort of almost roast feel to it. But I'm going for the low and slow smoke, keep that moisture and that tenderness in, and then I'm going to go to the wrap to let the braising further tender it. This piece of pork probably doesn't need that because it's such high quality. It could probably be done straight up at a higher temperature, or 150 or 160, and it would be stunning. But I'm going back to my basics. I want to get this right and show you the slice when it's done, and then show you the slice for breakfast tomorrow. And I want to achieve that safely, and then I'll experiment in my own time. Okay, so 1 hour, we'll come back and we'll have a look. Okay, so I'm using the Meter 2 probe today, 2 Plus. I had a Meter Plus and I was extremely disappointed with it. But the Meter 2 Plus is a phenomenal piece of equipment. It is really amazing. The app's real cool. The great thing about the meter, it gives you an ambient temperature. That's the temperature in Celsius inside the Kamado Joe. It gives you internal temp, target. You can set alarms, etc., etc., and it'll tell you out. It'll calculate the cooking time. It'll tell you when to pull out to rest, all that sort of thing. So it takes a little bit of guesswork out, and you can see when you have a flare up if you're cooking at different temps. Really great. You can program your cooks in, dates, times. You can put a lot of info on. It gives you graphs and a lot of detail, and you can take notes in that. So at some stage I'm going to try to be really clever and input a lot of data in so that I can have a track record of some of my cooks. But certainly if you guys can afford a meter 2+, I do recommend it. There are some good ones on the market, but this thing's amazing. You can deep fry with it. Okay, so we are an hour in. Nothing much has changed. It's a little bit shrunk, but it's looking a little dry. So I'm going to spritz it. This is a mix of apple cider vinegar and apple juice. Nice heavy spritz. I can see we're nowhere near the required temp. Probably going to be at least 2 hours before I pull, so I'm just going to close up and check in half an hour again. Right guys, it's been in for just over 2 hours. It's on 65 degrees centigrade, and I'm taking it out because I can see I've got enough smoke color, and I'm going to wrap it now. So I've used 2 layers of foil today. There's no bones in this, otherwise I would use 3. And I'll give it a nice heavy spritz, the way you would with ribs, to allow the steam from the spritz to tenderize the meat, as opposed to the moisture from the meat leaving and making the steam. Then you always want to make a boat to catch all your juices. And you want to wrap tight, so there's no air pockets. Look at that little bundle of joy. Right, meters told me to take it out. We're at 90 degrees Celsius, looking at resting it for an hour, typically. However, rugby has just started, so that's on pause. I'm going to probably rest it for an hour and a half, and I need to move and shake a leg. See you after the rugby. So, it's not that cold that I'm dressed like this. It's just because we have won the very important game in rugby. For my 3 maybe international viewers, rugby is extremely important to South Africans. So I just thought that I would splash it on for this. But yeah, great day, a great day for South Africa, and a great day for me. And yes, I'm slurring a little bit, but cheers. Here is your pork. I will zoom in on it and carve it up. Okay, so now I'm going to slice this. I can't tell you how, even though I pulled this at like seriously sliceable temps, excuse my mouth, it's watering. The tenderness of this feels like it's beyond pulled pork temps. That's the nature of the beast. Okay, so I mean, if you look at something like that, It's just, and this was not cooked to a Fahrenheit 206, a Celsius 97 to make it pullable and fall apart. This was cooked to a 92, a 197 Fahrenheit, and quite honestly, the quality of the meat makes like it behaves like something cooked at those higher temps. So always buy good meat, always buy good quality meat. If you don't, expect to put more effort in and more time in. I am just a little bit concerned that my bacon slice tomorrow is not going to be a bacon slice. I'm probably almost going to freeze this an hour before so I can get those thin slices, fry them up, and try and get them fairly whole onto a plate. This is just ridiculous, guys. It's just falling apart. It's delicious, and I did not push those temperatures that much. Okay, good morning. I'm a little bit tender this morning after the celebrations with the rugby, as I'm sure you can expect. So perfect time for a little hungover breakfast. I'm going to slice this this pork up. It was so tender last night. I'm not going to use a slice. I'm going to have to cut thick so that it stays together. Absolutely delicious. But let's get this breakfast down on my stomach so I can face the day. Look at that. Look at the fat in there. This is going to fry up beautifully. Okay, you can see the slice of this is nice. It's beautiful on this roll. Good color. I'm going to pop this yolk. Oh, look at that. That is delicious. I can't believe how good this is, man. I wish you were here to taste it. Please try this at home. Cook your pork collar if you have to in the oven, similarly to the same temperatures that I've got. And that's it.